Pretty much
Usher, because of the beef.
You said Usher. I don't know. I don't know who would win a T-Pain and Usher. That's actually because T-Pain got some
Usher.
hits.
T-Pain and Usher got hits, man.
Yeah.
I think
Man, a lot of
that'd
hits,
be
man.
that would be a fun battle. But I was just saying, just to be funny between, because Usher came out to T-Pain and said what he
You
said.
say you ruined
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah.
And now you have T-Pain kind of in a sense going with what Usher's saying, where it's like, yo, everybody sounds the same, which the sound comes from T-Pain to some. If we're going to be all the way honest, T-Pain is like the father of this auto-tune sound. So,
Yes and no.
well, I mean, I'm saying when I say father of the sound, I mean like in rap. We all know about like the Zap Band and the other those that came prior to him. But I'm talking about in terms of the artist that took it and just said, yo, this is the only sound that I have. People didn't know he could even sing.
No, I just feel like that the watered down product of rap music today. I don't look at it because of it was T-Pain's doing. I look at it like a lot of these young artists, when you hear them talk and you talk about the biggest influences, T-Pain is not included in none of it. Even though T-Pain is still somewhat relevant today, he's still getting a lot of money. He still has a lot of stuff to do with music behind the scenes and all that. A lot of these relevant rappers today, faces rappers, they don't mention T-Pain as an influence or a source. So that's why I say yes and no.
But that's the thing to me, right? Like I totally agree there, where I don't see them as, they don't verbally say he is the source, right? The reason why I'm saying that with T-Pain is the sound that whoever is their influence, right? Primarily like, because a lot of these auto-tune rappers, we could all say a lot of it comes back to Wayne, right?
Okay.
Because
Fair enough, yeah.
Wayne had his run where he was doing auto-tune, but that is inspired because you had T-Pain.
Right.
So like Kanye West, T-Pain, you need like, there's all these other, these people that really were the ones that influenced everybody else. It all comes from T-Pain. And that's why I'm saying that. That's the main reason why I'm saying that.
Well, how do y'all feel about what he said about rappers sounding the same right now? Like, how I know, Lau, you have something to say. Go ahead.
I've been saying this shit. I've been saying it. Now somebody who has a lot more notoriety than I do when it comes to fucking music and in the entertainment world, for sure. I've been saying this shit for multiple episodes of the podcast. You have all these crybaby ass niggas singing on guitar, pianos, and shit, sounding the fucking same, and it's just the same. It's the melodic sound is there's no. So when people talk about like Rod Wave and Maury and all that stuff, they sound one of the same. The Lil Babies, the Lil Durk, they kind of sound one of the same. All these fucking rappers, you have to get an auto-tune sounding guy who sounds very left field, kind of like your Trippie Redd. Trippie Redd don't. Yes, he uses heavy auto-tune, but he don't sound like a Lil Baby. He's kind of like very like, hey, I'm trying to go like the Playboi Carti, Lil Uzi route type of shit, where it's kind of like rock star. I'm in the fucking rave type of shit, but the majority of the sound is the same, and I agree with T-Pain, bro. Like, we already have a lot of these fucking Lil Baby, Da Baby, Lil Durk, blah, blah, blah. It's like they're branching off to the same type of fucking artists. I don't understand why upcoming rappers want to rap like them. Like, we already got a Lil Baby. He already stamped. You know what I mean? Why? We don't need 100 rappers like that. And the thing is, about it, and no discredit to the rappers that's rapping like them, because they enjoy the music and they're influenced by it, but it's like these fans, every time there's something different, oh, it's so whack, these old heads, this and the third and all that, and then next thing you know, these fuckers rappers aren't selling because I'm like, the people who actually have money to go buy this shit know this shit is bullshit and they're not gonna fucking buy it. Like, nobody wants to hear something. It's like this, the Soulja Boy console, right? Hey, I could go out and I could actually buy myself a PlayStation Xbox. Why am I going to buy the Soulja Boy console? Shouts out to Soulja Boy. We fuck with Big Gucci Soldier, Big Draco. But let's be real, PlayStation and Xbox are better than the Soldier Boy console. So why am I going to listen to these watered down, pamper ass rappers when I could just listen to Lil Durk and Lil Baby? I just don't get it. And that's why I agree with T-Pain, man.
I'm gonna disagree and agree with you. Like I agree with majority of what you said. I think when a lot of these rappers like come out, I think their goal is, hey, how do I get the biggest buzz quickly? And I think that when you make your sound similar to the sound that's popular, you can kind of ride that wave up and then kind of change your way as you go or whatever the case. Or you can keep on doing that shit until your career is over. Your choice. But it's like at the same point in time, I'll disagree because I'll say that a lot of the music that is sounding the same is selling right now. I think that a lot of the reason why we hear a lot of these rappers sound the same is because the labels say, hey, Travis Scott, Trippie Redd, Polo G, Lil TJ, all their records are selling. We need more people that sound like that because even if we don't take the chance on somebody who sounds unique, we're going to take the sound on somebody who sounds the same, get a little bit of money, and shovel them off to the side once they're done. But people who can break away from that and actually put out the type of music that is just the type of music they want to make, regardless of whatever's going on, they end up being pretty successful because it's like, hey, nobody sounds like Kendrick. Nobody sounds like Benny. Nobody sounds like Westside. You know what I mean? Like, so you have these people who are out here doing separate things and they can flourish in their own way.
No, and I agree with you on that. I just think that there's not enough of those different sounding rappers. And I don't know if it's because somebody is afraid to go that route because they're so money hungry, or they're so caught up with what everybody likes and they want to be a stick in the ass singing crybaby rapper. And I just don't, that's the shit that kills me. Like, I just feel like years ago you always had a popular sound, and I'm not going to discredit that. But I just feel like before you had, and I'm not talking about before like 20, 30 years ago, but I'm just saying before you had variety. Now it's like 80% crybaby auto-tune. I just don't get that. And I'm not saying all of it is bad. Some of it is enjoyable to listen to. Some of it is really not that bad. But majority of it is very commercial, watered down industry plant bullshit.
So see, this is what I'll say, right? So I partially agree and disagree with you both. I do agree where like there is a sound today that unfortunately most people just copy the same sound. And I agree, like you have at some point where you have like your Lil Babies, your Lil Durks, your The Babies, like you have certain artists at a certain echelon that carry that sound, right? And after that, it's just overflow. Anything after that, it's like I can go without, right? I agree there. But I also piggyback off the statement that you said before, where you were like, hey, this music, there's always going to be a popular sound, right? So when there's always a popular sound, unfortunately, most people chase that same sound. The same when Wayne was the biggest guy and every one of our favorite rappers rapped like Lil Wayne at one point. You even have Kendrick Lamar that once rapped like Lil Wayne, Thug that once rapped like Lil Wayne. And it didn't work for them. And eventually they found their own niche, right? And hopefully that happens for some of these artists, but that's to be determined. I think with the artists we have, I think the thing is today is that I believe there is a variety, because today music is so easily accessible that you can listen to whatever you want to listen to at the end of the day. Now, granted, like at a mass level, the sound is always going to be one stream, right? Like, or one or two different sounds at the max. It's hard to have that level of diversity, I think, in terms of sound today. That sound, i.e. being like a radio sound, the sound that goes the most, right? The same way with Pop Smoke. When Pop Smoke was putting out music, he came through with this big wave of music.
Brooklyn Drill.
Yeah, he carried, and the sound was there prior to him, right? Because you had like your 22 Gs, you had your I forget his name. It's actually the rapper that he beefs with a lot. But you have like these other rappers, right? Chef G's. Like you have these rappers that came prior to him, but Pop Smoke made that song that sound big. And now you have every rapper out of New York rapping over that type of sound, right? The same way it's like, now granted, it's much smaller, no different than the drill sound at one point where drill was the only type of music that people put out. And I think, like you said, there's a certain level in which the music can only go. There's only so many people that can make this sound good and unique for them, or you can deviate. For me, at least, I can deviate between what's Lil Baby and what's Lil Durk in terms of the sound, in terms of the subject matter that they rap about, and how even some of it overlaps at the same time. I think the issue is like where T-Pain comes in, and I understand it. It's like it's a bittersweet thing to say, but because we have the accessibility to make music so easily today, is why you have so many people making the same sound. I think.
I disagree with that.
Well, tell me why you disagree.
I think the reason why we hear it is because people want to be popular. You know what I mean? That is, I think, the general reason behind it all. If, like I said, nobody sounds like Westside, but there's definitely people who try to sound like Westside. There's definitely people who try to sound like Kendrick. You know what I mean? And they try to do that in order to. It's either one, that's just the type of music they want to make, and there's nothing wrong with that, or two, they are trying to capture a sound that people like and benefit off of it for their own gain. So me personally, if I hear somebody who sounds like Kendrick or whatever, cool, but why would I listen to a discount version of him when I can just listen to him straight up? That's what I feel.
I mean, I agree with that, but even then, it's different strokes for different folks because, and I mean, I know he's your boy and all, and like I know he's your boy.
Kendrick.
No, not Kendrick. I'm not even talking about Kendrick. I'm talking about the person that copied off of Kendrick at one point in time.
Oh, okay.
Like your boy Logic, like, like, and
Shouts
we
out to
all,
Logic too.
hey, yo, happy retirement. Like the thing is with like even with him, like when he put out I think his project Under Pressure, it was literally like a carbon copy of like Good Kid, Mad City.
There's some similarities, you know.
Yeah, strong similarities. I watched what you scribbled in your notepad and recorded your life type of similarities.
Okay, Jay-Z.
Like, hey,
but look though, like I said, you can come in, and that's not to say that Logic didn't have a career prior to that album. Like he did, and you can come in and you can sound like something else that's popular, which it did sound popular or similar to that. I'm not gonna lie, but he doesn't sound like Kendrick right now. I wouldn't say. Like, would you say that you listen to his music and think, damn, that sounds like just like Kendrick? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think so. People said that shit about Big Sean. They said he sounded like Ludacris, right? Do any of us think that the last Big Sean album sounds like a Ludacris album? It doesn't. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with that, but I think that also comes with like one of like the sad disdains that people have when it comes to music, right? Because I think this argument of rappers all sounding the same will always exist no matter what, right? No matter what the sound is, I think it will always exist because you have, like you said, you have Logic, you have Kendrick, right? One point in time they sounded the same and now they deviated from each other. The same goes for plenty of artists where you have rappers that once tried to sound like Chief Keef that sound differently now, or you have rappers today that are, matter of fact, what was that kid's name? Out of the YBN crew, right? Like the one that was actually good, like Cordae.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Like even for him, he raps a certain way. Like you thought we grouped him there, and then eventually he expanded his sound into something else. And I think that's the biggest thing that people have to realize. I think that's the biggest takeaway from it. It's like, yo, you're going to have people that sound the same and then eventually branch off. And the people that don't, they eventually fall like weeds at the end of the day. Like it's one of those tricky things. But like I said, like we'll always see this happen. Like the same, like I said, with Pop Smoke, like he created a sound that people are now have ran with it since he's passed. So